Today on Monkey Life, a heart-stopping moment for the team when something goes wrong as Gibbon Kitty is prepared for a health check.
Still really, really low. We need a bit of atropine.
We have a heartbeat.
Yeah, but it's very slow.
Saki monkey Chloe meets an over-ardent suitor.
Not the initial love at first sight I was hoping for.
And flirty females try and put capuchin Winslow off his dinner. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hello, missus. Hi, you. Are you a good girl?
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. At the Gibbon complex, staff have become concerned about the appearance of 19-year-old Gibbon, Kitty. She came to the park in 2001, after being orphaned at a rescue centre in Taiwan. 2 years ago, food-loving Kitty was a little overweight, so the team decided to alter her diet. Gradually, the excess pounds came off, and she slimmed down. But in the last few months, she's had a dramatic weight loss, despite interventions from staff to help.
Now, Kitty, we're not really sure what's going on with her. She's starting to look really quite thin. You can see a lot of her bones starting to poke through, and her face looks very thin as well. We're also seeing quite a change in her temperament as well. I mean, Kitty's always been quite a volatile character towards certain members of primate care staff, but for some of us, she's actually quite a sweet and sort of docile animal, and she's quite friendly, but she's actually aggressive quite a lot to all of us. We're not sure what's actually going on with her. We have noticed that she does have a problem with at least one of her canine teeth, and we're not sure if perhaps that's what's causing the issue. So we want to have a look at that, and again, just take some blood samples and see if there's something else going on there.
It should be straightforward. Kat is going to anaesthetise Kitty with a hand injection, and then once she's down, Thazar and the vet team will give her a quick check-over and take some bloods. Because it's a simple procedure, it can all be done in Kitty's bedroom. Kat administers the anaesthetic drug, and after a few minutes, it takes effect. But something's wrong. Kat calls Cara over to take a look. And immediately there's concern. Kitty has stopped breathing. Cara calls in the emergency. Vet Thazar is already on his way over to the Gibbon house and arrives in seconds. He begins to give the unresponsive Gibbon CPR.
Give it another one.
Thazar works quickly, with the worried team looking on. It's an incredibly tense and worrying few minutes.
Has she still got a heartbeat?
Yeah.
But eventually, Kitty's heart starts beating again, very slowly.
Still really, really low. We need a bit of atropine.
We have a heartbeat.
Yeah, but it's very slow.
Thazar has picked up something worrying.
This animal has been knocked out before.
Not since she was 4 years old.
No, long time.
And she was still a child.
Well, she's got a heart murmur.
A heart murmur.
With Kitty now stable, Thazar decides to take her to the hospital, where they can quickly take bloods and do x-rays in a controlled environment.
Take body. Well done. Okay.
Kitty is quickly checked over.
But this animal is skin and bones, eh?
She's like an old lady.
This animal has got something, it's got a disease, and well, it's got a heart murmur as well, so we are going to find it out. At the moment, the heart rate is fast and she's breathing okay, it's comfortable.
Kitty's heart rate has gone from very slow to rapid. Thesar isn't sure if there's an underlying cause or if the anaesthetic and the adrenaline she's been given have caused the increase in rhythm.
Here you are. You've got plenty of blood.
Oh, wow.
A series of X-rays might give him a better idea of what's going on.
Okay.
The initial review doesn't show anything conclusive. Thesar will need to study them more closely later.
Okay, and I think we'll wake it up, eh?
Okay.
His main concern now is bringing Kitty round from the anaesthetic, and that's proving difficult.
Come on, babes. Kitty. Come on, Kit. Come on, Kitty. No. Kitty.
Finally, to everyone's relief, Kitty shows signs of waking up.
Right, okay, we've got blink. Dessa, just so you know, she's coming to.
Is he waking up?
Yeah.
Good, well done.
It's been a stressful hour for everyone, and they're still no nearer to discovering the cause of Kitty's condition.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something going on, something a bit sinister, I'm afraid. I will potentially treat that heart. I will potentially treat with painkillers. But I need to wait for blood testing first. This is the thing. The results of that blood test is key.
Kit.
The team will have to wait for the lab results before they can move forward with a plan to treat Kitty. For now, she's returned to her bedroom to recover. One of the biggest challenges for the primate care team who look after the park's primates is keeping them busy, interested and active, and none more so than the orangutans. These lovable great apes can be innately lazy. Trying to get them off the ground and moving around, when in captivity, is extremely challenging. The orangutan team at Monkey World are constantly trying to devise new ways to entice them up high, as they would be in the wild. In the last few days, they've been refurbishing Gordon's enclosure, adding more hoses as walkways to link the climbing frames, plus extra cargo nets. This will enable staff to place more of the primates' food up high and off the ground. Today, Gordon, his mum Amy and Xiao Lan will get to try out their new apparatus for the first time. And as an added bonus, they're being given fresh corn on the cob as an extra incentive to come out and climb. Gordon's first out. He knows there's something different, but can't quite put his finger on it. No such problem for Xiao Lan, who collects her corn from one of the high platforms. Gordon's decided he's going to test out the new hoses first, before settling down for breakfast. Male orangutans are the biggest arboreal mammals in the world, and Gordon weighs in at around 100 kilograms. The big male is 21 years old, and his gravity-defying tightrope act is breathtaking to watch. His mum Amy is normally content to spend time on the ground. At 35 years of age, she's probably the oldest orangutan at the park, and although fit and healthy, she takes life at her own pace, which is normally nice and slow. But today she's making an exception. She's actually climbing for her food, even if it is the fruit in the kongs only a few feet off the ground. But it's still good to see. Xiao Lan is a much more agile and active female and has no trouble climbing the new equipment in search of food. The addition of the new hoses, together with the added attraction of fresh corn, seems to have worked. All three orangutans have demonstrated they can be active and agile when it suits them. It's a lovely warm day, and over at the Capuchin complex, Winslow's gang of 18 are soaking up the sunshine. He's been leader of this group since taking over from Tao just over a year ago. And after a slightly shaky start, he's now full of confidence and relishing his top spot. Not surprising when all the girls seem to adore him. Today, the group are going to be given a cooling treat. These pine cones are filled with yogurt, oats and berries, and have been frozen solid.
Good morning, guys!
All favourite capuchin snacks, but they'll have to work a little bit harder to get these treats.
We've frozen the pine cone safe. It's been a really hot, sunny weekend, and everyone's getting a bit hot and bothered, so it's nice to have some nice cool treats, but it also means it takes them a little bit longer to get hold of the raisins and the oats and things that are hidden inside it. It's all frozen inside this nice yogurty case. The capuchins are brilliant at manipulating treats. They've got really nimble little hands. They can get into things really easily, and they're really clever, so they won't stop until they've got all the treats out.
There are plenty of the frozen pine cones to go around, so all of the group should get a chance to join in and enjoy this frozen feast. But not if Babe has anything to do with it. The high-ranking female has already managed to collect 3 cones and is making short work of them. Ruby's keeping a careful eye out for any potential cone snatchers as she tucks into hers. Norman and Fifi have got a real taste for this yummy treat. Capuchin's hands are incredibly dexterous, so they can easily use their fingers to pick out all the tasty bits stuck between the pine scales. Low-ranking Ruby has been joined by Daisy, significantly higher in the pecking order, but still happy enough to eat side by side. Winslow is on the lookout for a yogurt-filled cone in the long grass. But his task is made a little bit more difficult by the flirty females following him around like love-struck teenagers. Today, it's Joanne and Bubbles who just can't leave him alone. Wherever Winslow goes, they follow. It's getting to the stage where he's literally having to fight them off.
Winslow has a lot of attention from the females, being the boss and being quite a handsome male. They all like him when they come into season. At the moment, he's got 2 females in season, and they are starting to drive him a little bit nuts. They keep running up to him, pulling his tail and sort of grinning in his face and squeaking. Winslow is pretty patient with the girls. He does occasionally get a bit annoyed and sort of go to swipe them away. I think having someone squeaking in your face all day is a little bit unnerving after a while.
While Winslow has his hands full managing all this female adulation, the rest of the group have enjoyed getting their fill of the tasty frozen delicacies. The pine cones have been a hit. But for Winslow, it's more a case of females pining after him. For the last week, the park's newest arrivals, white-faced Saki monkeys Desmond and Tutu, have been getting acquainted with their new home and surroundings. At the same time, the primate care team have been keeping a close eye on them, monitoring their health and behaviours. But this morning, they're about to come face to face with the reason for their move to the park. The pair are going to meet the lonely female needing their companionship.
Today is a really exciting morning for all of us because we're going to move Chloe up to meet Desmond and Tutu. So we're really happy about it because she hasn't had a Saki friend for a while since we lost Jethro, and I think she'll really enjoy it and she'll be really glad of new friends. So we're really excited to see how it all goes.
Since Chloe's Saki partner Jethro passed away, she's been living with a group of squirrel monkeys. But it became obvious she needed companionship of her own kind. Now it's time for her to meet Desmond and his son Tutu in the hope they'll make a happy family trio.
The best outcome is that the 3 of them will just live happily together and they'll be content and there'll be lots of grooming and they'll sleep in the same area together and just that they'll be a little family unit, really. But we just don't know. Whenever we do an introduction, there's always an element of nerves because you're not quite sure, but I think it's going to go well.
Hey, Chloe. Good morning. How are you, precious one?
But first, Chloe needs to be boxed up.
Good girl. It's not so bad in there, is it?
She's going to be introduced to Desmond and Tutu in their bedroom and enclosure, which has been adapted especially for them in part of the new marmoset complex.
It's a good day. It's going to be exciting.
To keep the introduction as stress-free as possible, the trio are kept apart at first, in next-door bedrooms, but they can see and hear each other.
Good boy. What do you think, Tutu? Can you see her?
After 30 minutes of calm, Karen decides it's time for all three to physically meet.
Nicely, guys.
The sight of a female is an exciting prospect for Desmond, who rushes straight in.
Oh, his lip smacking.
Chloe's immediately on the defensive and issues an alarm call warning him off.
Oh, you're okay.
Desmond's not giving up, and Chloe has to dodge his advances.
Not the initial love at first sight I was hoping for.
But when younger male Tutu arrives on the scene, things start to calm down.
Oh, Chloe, another one. Ready-made family for you, Chloe.
In fact, it becomes one big love-in, as all three Sakis start to greet and sniff each other, a sure sign they're starting to relax in each other's company.
Are you happy, Chloe?
It's everything Karen was hoping for.
It's going okay at the minute. When we first put her in and opened up, there was quite a lot of alarm calling. Everyone was a bit frantic. But it's actually settled down really nicely. And they've been sniffing at each other, sniffing at each other's faces. Tutu's finally got in on the action, and they've all been sat nicely together. So yeah, it's going really well at the minute. It's really nice to watch.
With the introduction now going well, Karen decides to let them all have access to the outside enclosure. This will also allow them that bit of extra space if it all gets too much. But she needn't have worried.
It's really good now. And I may have shed a little tear of happiness, so we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything continues to go as it is.
It's been 3 months since Alison went to Lebanon to collect Benny and Nia, two rare guenons. They've both settled well into life at the park. The pair were illegally stolen from the forests of Benin and confiscated by the authorities at Beirut Airport. Animals Lebanon, a rescue organisation in the region, took over their care before contacting Alison for help. Today, Jason Myers, who runs the centre in Lebanon, has flown to the UK for his first look at the pair in their new home.
Yeah, it's really amazing. We've had them in our care for more than half a year, and now to see them in such a setup that they're happy, they're running around, playing in trees for the first time, really, since they were trafficked from Africa. And here you have a proper setup for them, and they have some friends in their enclosure too, so it's rewarding to see, and it's great that they've moved on now. They're happy, they're playing. You can see in their body, their positioning, their posture, everything, that they're doing so much better. So it's really great to see them like this.
It's now been confirmed that Benny and Nia are in fact red-bellied, white-throated guenons. But 3 months ago, Jason didn't have a clue what he had.
I lived in Africa for quite a few years, and I've worked with a variety of primates, but this species specifically, no, and it doesn't seem that there's that much known about this individual species. Even trying to figure out what species they were originally, we determined that from a picture. And the picture looked kind of goofy, but it reminded us exactly of Benny. The characteristics, the facial gesture, just the way this one drawing was made, it looked exactly like him. So yes, having to try a lot of things, see what they would like, what they dislike, and even in terms of food, it was really quite standoffish at first. So they had a lot to learn, but so did we in caring for them. But yeah, it's great.
But the reason for Jason's visit isn't just to check up on the guenons. Last night, he arrived with another rescued primate, this time a Bengal slow loris. Alison flew out to Beirut to help sort out the paperwork and travelled back with Jason, and Nora, as she's now been called. the female is going to join the park's already established Loris group. She was discovered after being advertised for sale on social media via a pet shop in Beirut. After investigations by Animals Lebanon, the Loris was eventually confiscated by the authorities and cared for by Jason and his team.
She actually shared my office with me for those 5-month periods. So it was, for me, a great time. You did your work for the day. Around 7 o'clock, she would wake up and we would have our evening meal. She explored my office with me for a few hours and then back to bed for her. She's a quiet animal. She doesn't smell, she doesn't make noise. She was a very good guest in my office, so.
Still very young, Nora weighed in at just 140 grams. She's put on weight since then, and now, following the agreement of the Lebanese authorities, she's been able to move to the park's Loris complex. For Jason, seeing the rescued animals recovering and being given a second chance in life makes all the hard work worthwhile.
I think this is the part which keeps us going, because our job in many ways is dealing with all the very negative things. We don't have a nice facility. We don't get to hold animals. We don't get to see that aspect of it. We get to fight the smugglers, fight the traffickers, have these court cases, do big campaigns, having to call on politicians for help. It's all the very difficult work to finally take an animal into your care. And often that entails somebody suing you back, threats, police, lawsuits, courts, all back at you. So to finally be able to get an animal here, to see them happy, that's the part which kind of keeps you going to want to fight for the next animal. If it wasn't for this happy stuff, it's very difficult to keep being motivated to have these fights.
Next time on Monkey Life, a new baby Wooly enters the world, and first-time mum Ava is bowled over by her new arrival.
She seems to be really happy with the baby, completely in love with it, and just happy spending some time with her little bundle of joy.
And sadness at the passing of one of the park's most iconic characters.